Hello, one and all, and welcome to round 4 of League of Europe Season 4 Division 2. We are here at a brand new track on the modern F1 calendar. We are here at Zandvoort, an unfamiliar track to the drivers yet again, just like last time out at Hanoi Circuit in Vietnam. We'll see, of course, how this shapes up the order, shapes up all the drivers and how they fare. And to help you take it through it, I'm Daka, and of course joining me alongside the commentary box, as per usual, is QVR Verstappen. How you doing, fella?
Hello everyone and welcome to brand new track indeed for LOE now. Zandvoort in the Netherlands, so we'll see how this fares on. 14 corners track, so let's see how this goes.
Yes, indeed. We're just going to see, of course, who's going to set off in this qualifying session and begin on their flying lap. I think the first driver is going to be Iro Packer, the American in the Haas. So we'll see how he gets on there as he opens up the throttle now. Round the final banked corner at 14 and open up the taps. DRS, low active and over the line to start his first flying lap, braking very close to the 50-metre board there. Down into second gear. You can use third if you want more stability. Packer opts for second, then upshifts. And now into turn 2 there, flying right-handed. Now onto the brakes there. Got to be very careful not to lock it up. Now pick up that throttle pedal out of turn 3. Then through kinks of 4, 5 and 6 as you head up now up the hill towards the end of the first sector at the brilliant turn 7. Got to try and get as close to the inside as possible, use as much of the track on the exit as you can, and now into this fantastic high speed section of the track, braking now into turn 9. Slow it down, struggle for traction, got to watch it coming off that corner. Now into 10 at corner, it just keeps winding and winding and winding, and finally you can get on the power. Little bit of a wobble from Packer, but he just about keeps it composed. Now on to the brakes into turns 11 and 12, very long corner at 12, and another tough traction zone. Pick it up and now on your way towards turn 13. Use all the available track that you can, then on the throttle again. It's absolutely flat out to the line then, and Packer is going to come through to open up the session. It is a 9 flat it is. That's not a bad lap time to kick things off. McCrew 710 slower to open up his session as well. So we'll see, of course, how the early times pop up there as we've got M Short going very quickly there on an 8. Expect drivers to be getting into the low 8s throughout the session as it evolves. But M Short, championship leader, last time race winner as well, off to a good start there in this quali session. 8A is a good place to start.
Yeah, definitely. It's already looking close once again as we have a few drivers come to the end of their laps, excelling on mediums. 109.8, that's less than a tenth behind McCrew there. Let's see, Carmen Menzelis on a 9.4, one of the racing points coming up the line. Ben JS also on the mediums, 109.6 there.
That's a good lap from Ben JS actually, by some margin, the fastest of those medium runners early on. So good job from him. Now we've got Mr. Skyzy round the last corner, but he's not opened the DRS. He is going to pull into the pit lane at the end of the flying lap. So we're going to look to JSD, but he is invalid on his lap. I think he's just kicking off yet another one. So after the first run of flying laps, it does just begin to settle down out there. But of course, keep your eyes peeled. We're going to see some fantastic racing, of course, later on, and some fantastic laps throughout the session as well. So we'll see if anyone's nearing the end. Dylan over the line does an 8.6. Wow! And yet again, the man who's been impressing in qualifying so far early on in the season has produced another scorcher, and both Red Bulls actually near the top. And an 8.6 from Dylan. That is a strong start to open things up.
Yeah, definitely over a tenth clear of anyone else. So that's quite interesting to see. Spaghetti Chips coming across the line, 109.3 because of its P8.
Yes, indeed, but he is a little bit down at the moment there. He's got to try and work his way back up further through the session. He does have plenty of time, of course, to pull that one off there. Carmentalist as well into the pit lane. A lot of drivers now coming in at the conclusions of their first run, but one man I don't think he is going to do that is Kvyat Maledictus, so I expected to finish this lap but didn't. JSD or Jari also into the pits, so we're seeing now it's beginning to calm down out there on track, and we're just seeing the first of the runs end. And so after that, got quite a lot of drivers that haven't got on the board, but out of the drivers that have, it's Iro Dillon top of the timesheets, and we'll see if anyone can get into that range. 3 drivers in the 108s, expect many more to rack up those times later on.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a quiet point, of course. Just people getting in and out of the pits again. And I think the first one to start the lap is Mr. Skyzy here, as he's coming through sector 2 at the moment. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's the first one.
I think so, yes, I do believe so. So we'll see, of course, how the AlphaTauri driver gets on there as he heads towards the line now. You've got Chips, Spaghetti Chips is going to let him through there. Now he opens up the throttle. We'll see, I'll leave it to you to take us through this flying lap from the Frenchman. Mr. Skyzy over the line, how does he get on in this flyer?
So coming up towards turn 1, brake, and almost at the 50-meter mark, he dares to brake that late. Third gear up the 4th and the exit, now towards the little left kick before turn 2. Let's see, runs the curve there. And now down into turn 3, banked corner, very difficult there. And now open up the front and 4th gear, and now toward turn 5 and 6 then. Let's see, coming through the fantastic fast corner into 7th gear. He holds it right on the curb into 8th there, and now back down to 7th. Looks quite quick at the moment. Mr. Skyzy coming through turn number 9. Difficult corner on traction, same as the following corner, which is turn 10. Not as close to the apex as you want, but he's taken a bit of a wider line before opening up the DRS. Now coming up to the chicane, sector 2 splits, 47.8. He seems curb, I don't know if he actually is. Let's see. As he runs the curb quite a lot, misses the first part of the chicane. Now towards the penultimate corner, turn 13, difficult as well. Hard to keep it on track there. Just about does it. And now for the final corner, flat out, up to the line, DRS open, Mr. Skyzy. What can he do? He sets a 1:08.9 up into P4.
Yes, indeed, there. Good lap from Skyzy, moving up the order now as he begins to pile on in this session. We've got Wesker, he's just come over the line, just starting a flying lap there, as is Carmentos. We've got to see, I think that's Maledictus as well. So we're seeing a lot of drivers now opening up on laps. McCrew on the softs this time at 8.7. That's a strong lap from the Dutchman. Joined his comparator on that front line, and Yelt up to the front. Good spot there. He does an 8.6. His teammate Eb Short is going to go into the pits then. So he will not improve there. Chell as well is going to come in there, and behind him is his teammate Ling just starting a lap, so it's a bit frantic out there at the moment there. Nico is round to the final corner now, opening up to the line, but I think he may have backed off midway through that lap. He doesn't improve. He is going to have to try and forge on there. Aero Packer is next up. No, he's going to come in as well. A lot of drivers deceiving, as I think it was Ryan moving up. He's also into the 8s, and that was Chubbs as well improving. So now we're seeing the lap times flooding in now. That's MMA Slash goes 4th there. Quick lap in 8.7. So we're seeing now a lot of drivers beginning to make their mark on this session, but still Yelt there. That is so impressive. A 1:08.6. We'll see if anyone can topple that in the latter half of this session.
Sven Jess goes up at P9, but now down to 10th as Wesker goes up to P7. It's very close still there, and I think it's one of the Ferraris just starting the laps. Let's see, throughout the grid. To anyone on their laps? It's hard to figure out at the moment. I can't see anyone very close. Axel Ling is validated. One of the Alfa Romeos is in behind MMA Slash. He's that's actually GSD. He's on the outlap. One of the Racing Points nice. I think they've just both set their lap time, so I doubt they'll go on. It's a bit of a quiet point, but I think many of the drivers are of the first part of the lap, so I have to see about that.
Yeah, it's difficult to keep track of a session because it's a very short lap, and of course a lot of drivers on the grid today, so do forgive us there for being a little bit slightly terrible at keeping up with the action, but we'll do our best, of course, to try and keep you posted. It looks like Spaghetti Chips may be nearing the end. He's flying it in now. You need absolute maximum commitment going through turn 13, and then of course it's an easy ride to the start finish line, and I know he's going to make a late decision to come into the pits. Maybe he wasn't improving on that lap there. Iro Dillon looks like he is fully committed to the line, does improve but not quite enough. He's 600ths of a second shy of your leader out there, NSX Yelt, so he's going to have to settle down and sit back just for the time being, as we've got Chell coming over the line. He's just about to start a flying lap there. JSD, who is not on the board yet, he is going through now. Turn 13, got to use absolutely every millimetre of the road, and he does do a pretty good job of that. Now keep the momentum rolling through turn 14, and he doesn't open up that DRS. Seeing a lot of drivers bailing out of laps late on, so they're maybe not quite as confident that they're going to be able to improve. I think we've got a lot of drivers now that are on out laps, gearing up for the next flyers in this session. 7 minutes to go. We'll see if anyone can topple that top mark of NSX Yelt.
I think the next driver on the lap is M Short, the championship leader, at least by 13 points. He's coming through Sector 2, the Sector 2 split there. And he seems purple, 10th up. And through the chicane as QVR Charles retired. He's spun out of turn 9, that is. Unfortunate for him. We'll have to settle with a 9 flats. But M Short coming through the penultimate corner. Looks very tidy there. Now tight on the banking. Let's see. Coming across. Opening it up to DRS. Let's see what M Short can do. He goes and up to pole position, 108.549, and he's about half a tenth in front of his teammate NSX Yelts.
Yeah, great lap indeed from M Short 17, stamping his authority at the top. But still, of course, we're seeing those two Mercedes drivers dominating in unison, particularly over one lap so far this season. We're seeing another example of that here today. We'll see, of course, if anyone is going to be able to outdo them there. We'll see if Mr. Skies, he's invalidated a lap. I think he's going to go again, though, on this run of fuel. So we'll see, of course, how he gets on. Iro Packer is going through the middle sector, but I think his teammate Carmentus a little bit further on. He is into the penultimate corner and he's 3/10 up, so we'll see if the man in 15th position at the moment has not had the starts of the season he would have wanted. Can he put it back in the right direction? Over the line, it's 13th, just behind his teammate. I think he would have maybe wanted a bit more from that. He's going to have to try and look for more a bit later on, as now I think we've got Spaghetti Chips. He's just coming over the line. It's just cars everywhere at the moment there. It's so fast paced, this quali session, and well, I'm very excited to see how the last 6 minutes of this session unfolds and what it has to offer. Let's see who's going to be able to take that all-important pole position.
And watch Iro Packer as he goes up into 4th place. Good lap time by the Haas driver. XL Ling goes up into P11. And now I think it's Maledictus coming across the line. Let's see what he can do. I think he's just about to start the lap. I don't know, to be honest. He's not improved, at least. QVR Nico coming across the line. Not improving there. I think he's backed off. And maybe has made a mistake there.
Ryan improves to 5th, so he goes up there and beginning to make more and more of an impression on this Division 2 grid. Now we've got Skies, we mentioned him starting a lap. Indeed, he goes up to the top, barely pips the top mark from M Short 17, and he is on provisional pole just for the time being. Stand by for that though. Chubbs over the line, goes 11th on an 8.9. The standard is so high out there. The field is incredibly tight. The top 14 are separated by less than half a second. Wow, what a session we're being treated to here around the short lap, where one lap pit speed is so important. As we've got Chip, he goes up to the line, it's only 16th, but wow, look how tight that is there. 13 drivers in the 8th. What a competitive session we're being treated to here.
Yeah, definitely, it's unbelievably close, and it's quite insane to see that. It's of course a very short track, so the gap will be smaller, but still it's insane. Let's see, anyone on that lap? I think everyone's just kind of going back to the pits to prepare for the final runs at the moment. One of the Mercedes drivers is just backed off of a lap, great, as I moved on to him. So that's I quite jinxed that myself, didn't I?
I think we do have Captain Chubbs. I'm not sure. He's definitely not on a flyer, I don't think. So he's backing off there. Out on track just now. BenJS, no, he's not got the RS turned up either. It's pretty frustrating to cover. A lot of drivers, we're coming across a lot of drivers that aren't on hot laps out there on track, but I think the only driver that hasn't set a time yet on the session might well be GSD_1_. That's a bit of a mouthful. We'll see, of course, if he's good at getting around this track though, as Dylan didn't even clock that, and 108.3. That is superb from Iro Dylan. Nearly 2/10 clear. That is one way to stamp your authority on this Division 2 grid. 108.3. That is sensational. 3 minutes to go, and the rest of the drivers have a lot of time to find if they want to get up to that sort of level there. That's the standard now, and Iro Dylan has thrown down the gauntlet there. 3 minutes to go. Can anyone top that?
Well, let's see. QVR Maledictus has so far not set a great lap time, 109.4. Let's see if he can do more. He's just about to start one as he's coming up towards the straights. Open up the DRS. Let's see what he can do.
So now over the line, I think his DRS might have failed, I'm not sure, but at least for me, he wasn't opening it. And we'll see, of course, now charging out of turn 1. Now turn 2, they're barely left on the entry there, and then hard on the brakes. Into turn 3, trying to avoid locking up, but it's so difficult if you don't run ABS. Now through turn 4, Turn 5 through these beautiful sweeping uphill kicks. Now into the fantastic turn 7. Hook that tight line. 7th gear. It doesn't look like he's pushing particularly hard. I think the sector time's a little bit bugged out for me. Is he on a, it's now saying he's on an outlap, so I'm very confused here as to what's going on with the graphics.
I'm quite confused as well. I'm not too sure, but I know for one who is on the lap is Wesker, as he's coming through turn 2 at the moment. Coming down to 3, down into 2nd gear and open up the throttle. Bit of a difficult track to show, but he gets it nicely on the power. Now for 4, 5 and 6, all easily flat, and now towards turn 7. Let's see what speed he reaches. It's about 250 kilometers an hour. It's amazing to see that. And now coming through the split, half a temp up he is for now. Let's see what he can do for the remainder of the lap.
So now, opening up that throttle, down towards turn 10, onto the brakes yet again. He's going to run 3rd gear through 10 now. Pick up the throttle, be careful as you apply it. You don't want to be spinning up those rear wheels. Now heading down towards the chicane. His teammate just in front has to try and get out the way there. He's a bit of a distraction. He's not quite an obstruction just yet. And now he steps aside. How much has that affected the Renault man? Let's see there. Absolutely flies it into turn 13. And now he is on it. He's going to run out of ERS just before the line there. It's going to derate. He's going to lose some power, but does it matter for him? Through he goes, and it's P7. It is an improvement, but he will not go higher than 7th, I don't think, unless he decides to go for another lap. We will see. Ryan, he's coming through a lap. I'm just looking to see someone that's near the end, potentially. You got anyone spotted?
Not at the moment, particularly. Just looking for. No, I think Ryan will be the first one to finish the lap. So let's see as he's coming through the final corner now. He is 9,000 down through sector 2 split. Let's see, open up the DRS, and he's backed off there.
Oh.
Unfortunately, he's not happy with it.
Yes, indeed. So he is going to have to settle back down, and he will start no higher than 6th. Not bad, but not great. I think we have QBR Nico. Indeed, coming up to light. He's 4th, heads up, and he goes 2nd. He backs up his teammate there, a 108.4. That's yet again a superb flying lap from QBR Nico. That is going to put him in 2nd just for the time being. We'll see, of course, if anyone is able to topple that further. Dylan himself, his teammates just come over the line now. He is going to kick things off for himself. And now let's look here. I think Captain Chubbs might be near the end of a lap in that Renault. Indeed he is there, swooping round. Turn 14 now. Glides it up to the line, but he's actually down on his time. I didn't clock that. He will start nowhere. Where's Skyzy?
He's back into the pits, unfortunately, as I call out him. Wesker in the pits as well. One of the Ferraris, the spaghetti chips, I think. He's coming through. Let's see the fine corner. Open up the DRS. Is he on an improvement? Coming across the line. 108.9, only 14.
I'm sure. Third, just shy of Nico. It's still a Red Bull 1-2 out there. Is that going to hold throughout the conclusion of the session? Dylan's going off in his fastest lap, so he's not going to improve there. And GSD has managed to end the session. He has not set a competitive lap time. Unlucky for him. And we'll see there. I think Packer is nearing the end. He is around the final corner now, but he's going towards the pit lane. Now he's taking the shortest run to the line that he can. Through comes Packer. It's 2nd place on a 108.7, and he's just topped out by McCrew, I think. Yale not able to go higher than 2nd, and is there just, I think it's just AMA Slash now round the final corner, but he's not got the engine turned up, so I think that's going to be it then. And it will be, if I'm not mistaken, Iro Dillon, despite crashing on his final run. He is on pole position, a 108.3 superb lap time from the Dutchman, and he has his teammate to back him up on that front row as well. Fantastic qualifying for Red Bull.
Yeah, definitely a really good showing from them too. And yeah, impressive. And we have M Short, of course, very close to them as well. As always, he's in 3rd place, so he'll be looking to maybe get them off the start. This is a very difficult track to overtake, if it's not been mentioned before. So I have to see about that.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. Of course, it is a track where it is notoriously difficult to overtake, and we're going to see that in action here in the race. I'm not sure what's going on with Maledictus' car. There's something very puzzling going on with him. So hopefully he's able to get himself retired, because to try and bring the session to a close, but it does look a little bit buggy. We're still going to have to wait another minute if that's the case. But either way, Red Bull 1 and 2, Mercedes yet again ever present at the front of the grid, but they're going to have their work cut out them, because those two Red Bulls, if they work together as a team at a track where overtaking opportunities are few and far between, they could have a very nice day at the front there. They might be able to see it all the way through, who knows?
Yeah, definitely. But of course, it's not over till it's over, and pit stop strategies could also make a very big difference. We'll have to see about that, what they choose for. We'll get into that later. So just watch him Maledictus drive around. I don't think he's controlling the car himself. So I don't really know what's going on here, but I'll have to see. It's 15 seconds till the timer runs out. So let's hope that gets done quite easily.
And yeah, he's just come over the line. The timer's still counting down. I don't understand what's going on here. It's now stuck on, and we've got 2 extra drivers there, AI drivers, and it's just the clock's just stuck on 1 second for me. I have no clue what's going on.
Yep, that's the same.
Right, I'm gonna remain in contact with the D2 organisers, see if anyone knows what's going on, because this is a rather peculiar situation we have on our hands there. That timer stuck on 1 second. I'm gonna see if they're going to get the session maybe redone, because it does look to have glitched out pretty completely. Really, we'll see if Maledictus is able to come over the line this time now that the timer has run out. But yeah, I'm rather confused. He's still going round. There's not really much to commentate over. I do apologise. And now he's jumped out the session rather selflessly, and it seems to have worked. So fair play to Maledictus for doing that and letting us continue. Hopefully he gets back in before the end. But yeah, that's a strange head to what was a very exciting session. But I'll leave it to you to take us through the results then. Iro Dillon on pole position.
Yeah, Iro Dillon indeed on pole position. 108.3 actually is myself, with his teammate lining up alongside him. QVR Nico then is M Short and Skyzy on the second row. NSX Yelt and McCrew in behind before Iro, Packer and Ryan sold out in the 4th row. Closing out the top 10 are Wesker and Slash, all on a 108.7 still, and insanely high standard here. Then we have Ben JS and Captain Chops, the first ones with their free tire choice. Then XL Link, Spaghetti Chips, QVR Chill, List, QVR Maledictus and JSD will be lining out at the back of the grid.
Thank you very much, Verstappen. Now we have a race to look forward to. Again, hopefully Maledictus gets back in the session in time before we kick off this Dutch Grand Prix. Looking forward to this one there. Been treated to a great season so far, and of course now we have the prospect of M Short really extending his championship lead up at the front, as Rick of course not present here today. So now that's a really good opportunity, because behind Rick there's quite a large gap. So realistically, M Short, who's already leading the championship, if he has a good race here today, could really move into a world of his own here.
Yeah, definitely. It's up to M Short to really see if he can get through. And it's interesting to see what the tire strategies are going to be. I'm going to try to invite Maledictus to see if he can get back in, hopefully. I don't know if he is, and if his car is there. I'll have to see. I hope it is, because it will be a real shame for him to not participate in this.
Yeah, especially after completely out of his own control. And to be fair, he was very selfless in actually backing out the session to let everyone else continue on. Of course, we've still got another formation lap ahead of us, but I think now we kind of had to turn our attention away from that, because we have a race ahead of us, folks. Here we go. Dillon leads the way from the line, and of course everyone inside the top 10 on softs, but outside the top 10, well, I'll leave you to run us through it, because we have quite a mix-up back there.
So it's Ben JS on mediums, together with XL Link, Commentalist and QVR Maledictus. They're opting for the mediums as well. We have a few soft runners, Spaghetti Chips and QVR Chill alongside JSD at the back of the grid. So they'll be looking to make their way through as much as they can. And we have one rather lonely Renault there, Captain Chops. He's opting to start on the hards.
Yes, and he's starting rather high up in that order, with a lot of guys on faster tyres behind him, so he's going to be looking over his shoulder off the start. Of course, if he can make a good start, then the world is his oyster. We'll see, of course, if he can get himself through, maybe hang on to the field in the early laps. I don't think the hard tyres are too bad around here, so we'll see, of course. And the Red Bulls, they get very close on track, actually. But now, they've got to watch themselves out there. They cannot afford to come to blows now. They have given themselves such a strong opportunity ahead of this race, but any mistake and they can allow the ever clinical M Short 17 to sneak right through. These guys are going to have to be wary out there.
Yeah, definitely. have to see about that. As they're just lining up towards the grid. Dylan taking it quite slowly so far, so he's trying to perhaps cool the tires for others down. We'll have to see what his strategy is on that, but he's just lining up towards the grid right now.
Of course, at the front of the grid, they're sat there for the longest, so the tyre temperatures will drop more than those at the rear. So maybe we'll see if that strategy for Dylan's going to work out in backing them all up. Of course, their M Short's left a bit of a gap there. They're all very close behind Skyzy, and they are going to line up, and we can get this race underway in just a few seconds' time. It's two Red Bulls who line up the front of this grid, but look at how tight it is. There are 18 drivers raring to go. GSD is going to bring up the rear back there. We'll see if he can make progress early on in this race. It's Dylan and Nico. That's your front row. And we've got M Short and Skyzy looking to try and snatch those positions early on in the race there. As we now build towards it, we have 4, 5 lights. And we are away for the Dutch Grand Prix. Away goes Dylan from the line. He's got a half-decent start there. He's left Nico behind there. As on the outside, M Short tries to grab that second place from the outside of the Spaniard there. They're going to go wheel to wheel down there through turn 1. But it's going to be M Short and Nico side by side there. And the Mercedes gets squeezed out. He's going to run wide and spins across the track. There's contact back there. The championship leader's in trouble. Yale and his teammate goes through up in the third. He tracks Nico. We got VSC back there. Absolute carnage down there at turn 3. What on earth's going on there?
I have no real idea. It's a few cars bound. I'll check for damage. If there's any cars with damage. Just looking around. I don't see anything at the back. This Wesker seems to have damage, and Kia VRChill seems to have damage as well. As the timings are just sorting themselves out, hopefully, right now. I think that is the correct order. So we have M Short. Does he have damage? I think he does. His right end plate and his right end plate seems to be gone. From what I can see. That's unfortunate for him there, and let's see if he's gonna pit.
My oh my!
We're getting underway once again, and this is still the two Red Bulls leading.
And further back down the field, we got Spaghetti Chips there just fending off the leading medium runner, Excelling. The McLaren has to tuck it behind. We'll see if he can keep up with those leaders. And of course now M Short, he's going to be all over the place now, under pressure. He's got to come into the pits early on. And now and we've got McCrew moving up to second, and that's just the timings buggy out there, as again having a little bit of a glitch at the end. But still, the Red Bulls running 1 and 2 up at the front end of the grid. Of course, we'll see if they can try and hold that out there. And we've got quite a multitude of cars in the pit lane there. A lot of them picked up damage down there. I think we've got at least 6 cars in the pit lane on the end of lap 1 there, and that's a huge blow to their chances here today. So unlucky.
Yeah, definitely they'll have to drive another race and hope for them. It might be a safety car since West Coast are already retired, unfortunately for him. He's not looking at it in the right mind at the moment. We'll have to see. It's, just nosing out, Spaghetti just has had an amazing start all the way as the timings will sort themselves out as soon as Ryan comes across a certain points, I think. He's up into P8 from P14, so that's a really good start for him.
Yes, indeed, and we'll see if, of course, if he can continue that line of fire. He's got to try and keep pace with the train ahead, though, because it's going to become a DRS train, and he cannot miss his ticket. He's got to try and get himself back on it. Over the line, Iro Dillon leads the field then, as it all begins to settle down out there. Further back down the field, there GSD's Roadpack Maledictus. He's made a very good start as well then. From the back of the grid up to 11th, he has made huge strides, but of course, we've only had, really, 12 cars that managed to stay in contention after that opening lap, and a wide mix of tyre choices outside of that. Of course, M Short now is coming through. He's on the hard tyres, so maybe he's going to be very ambitious. Can he stretch those all the way to the end of the race? It's a risky call, but realistically, if he wants the points and if he wants to maintain his championship lead, he needs this. He needs to take risks, and he needs to somehow get himself back in those points.
Yeah, definitely, and maybe he can hope for a safety car later on, which will help him, and maybe can set him onto some different tires, which will not be ideal with the safety car condition, of course. But at the front, we have a 7-car train. Spag is just about on the edge of the DRS there, so he'll be looking to close up. I think he's just about got in. And yeah, it's quite steady at the moment, so we'll have to see how this develops.
Yes, indeed. Of course, only 8 cars really on those soft tires now are going to have to try and open the taps and clear the guys behind. So maybe a little bit of cooperation needed between these guys. You have to look out for NSXL. I think he's always one to look out for in these races, and he is keeping those 2 Red Bulls very honest up the front. We saw their incredible quality pace, but now they're going to have to try and convert that to the race. And NSX Yelt, who has been a danger man all the way through the season in more ways than one, now he is going to be tracking QVR. Nico in front is holding down that second place rather nicely, but one mistake, Yelt's going to go for it. So now he's got to try and avoid that. Yelt on the offensive, still so close amongst those top 7 there. Fastest lap from QVR, chilled in on his attempted recovery drive. Nico wide onto the grass, he's going to run wide through turn 9, and that's going to put Yelt right on his tail there. That's the mistake I was talking about. Now Nico is going to have to defend. I think Packer was dropping back. There's a little bit of a timing glitch there. I think Packer has made a bit of a mistake and dropped back, but here comes Yelt looking to the outside. Nico very feisty on the defence, and it's just about getting covered off there. McCrew getting very tight up there. The top 4 getting very bunched up. Nico has done what he needed to do on that occasion, but he needs to try and keep that DRS of his teammate ahead. Yelt is hounding him, but at the moment Nico has managed to maintain that DRS, and he can try and pull himself away, pull himself towards the group ahead as we get settled down. But Packer has made a slight error, I believe, and now he's down into 8 there. Spag up to 7, but he's got a lot of work to do to get in that DRS through. The top 5 looking very pacey out there and beginning to maybe establish themselves for the likes of Slash and Spag behind.
Yeah, definitely they're looking strong out there. Slash is kind of struggling onto the back of SkySea to stay in DRS, and Spag is not even in DRS, so he has to push as well. We'll have to see how this develops. Dylan has a 7/10 gap to his teammate in behind, which is quite good for him as well. And he'll be looking to extend that, I reckon. Or maybe help his teammate and leave him in the DRS, we'll have to see.
We'll see, of course, how that all shapes up. One battle that I'm going to keep my half an eye on is Carmentalist and M Short. I know it's for the back of the field, but M Short on those hards is going to be getting reeled in by Carmentalist on those faster soft tyres. So we'll see, of course, if he's able to get through, if M Short is going to fight it, really. It may be wise for him to step aside and just let the DRS do the work, and he can make a bit more pace that way. But as a championship leader, it's all about the mental game. You've got to try and make the right calls at every point in the race, and that's what's going to carry you through. Still up the front though, it's the 2 Red Bulls. Nico has managed to get back into contact with his teammate again. He's dragging a handful of cars with him. Slash is just about staying with it, but behind him Spag is struggling to stay with it, and Packer as well is beginning to strangle off the back of the Fed. One thing to note is that Ling on those mediums is really keeping pace. In 9th spot, he is still in reach of the race leaders. Ling doing a very good job early on, and we'll see if that can set him up for a good charge later on.
Yeah, definitely, but one thing to note is he has used a lot of his ERS already. He's on 15%, and it's quite hard to regain it back here. It's seen throughout the races in the other divisions as well. I'll have to see if Ling can manage that and stay with this back with Spag and Packer.
Of course, we'll see if he's able to do it. I'm not sure what's going on right now because my timing's all over the place there. It keeps bugging out. I'm not sure if you're having the same issue, but yeah, it's a little bit hard to. It's a little bit difficult to keep track of. Dylan is looking fast out there, but he is struggling to really gap him there. Nico's hanging on in there, and he does have that advantage of the DRS, of course. Looking further down the field though, SkySea is getting ever closer to Eleanor McCrew, but it's a short braking zone into turn 1. McCrew locks up, but realistically, he was never going to get far enough alongside there. You have to get such a good run on the straight if you want to challenge, and this is the reality of Zandvoort. Overtaking opportunities are going to be so hard to come by. These drivers are going to have to be clinical if they want to try and move up through this train.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be a difficult task for every single one of them to actually pull off an overtake, and ERS mentioned is going to play a role in that, but these guys looking to be doing decent on that so far. And to note, NSX has over 90%, so that's quite good for him.
Yeah, he does have more overtaking potential, therefore, than everyone around him, so he can try and use that to his advantage. We'll see, of course, if he can make that one work. A little bit quiet out there on track at the moment. There's just these top 9 cars or so that are actually all still in DRS, and this is helping Ling out quite a fair bit because he's able to stay with just a few seconds away from the race leaders on those slower tyres that by now are going to be coming into their own. So now he has a bit of a shot. Nico's 8 tenths behind his teammate. He's at times drifting a little bit further than I'm sure he'd want to. He needs to try and work his way back in and stay with him consistently, because Yelt's going to try and take advantage. Yelt does look quick out there, I have to say, and he can now try and look for any overtaking opportunities he can. But as long as Nico stays with Dylan, then really for the Dutchman it's going to be a long way ahead to try and clear those two Red Bulls.
Yes, I think it's Maledictus into the pits. I don't know if it's the AI of him or it's himself, but I think he retires there. And yeah, that's really unfortunate to see for the Ferrari driver.
Yeah, I think that he has had quite a lot of connection issues and just maybe realised that it wasn't going to be his day, unfortunately. I do feel really bad for him because he has not really done much wrong here today, but fell victim to maybe just a bad internet or bad service. I'm not sure exactly what the cause of that is, but I'm sure we'll find out from him later. Anyway, back towards the front of the grid. Dylan is setting a strong pace, but at the moment everyone down to 9th is living with it. Chubb's only a few seconds adrift at this as well, so he's still not out of it, and he can run a reverse strategy and maybe get up the field further along. Skyzy, indeed, yeah, I was just going to mention that. Skyzy is close to McCrew, but he's not using that overtake. You have to be sparing with it, because it seems like it is deteriorating throughout the stint. These guys are going to have to watch themselves out there, but I think Skyzy is holding back a little bit, trying to keep it basically in reserve, so that when overtaking opportunities, serious overtaking opportunities present themselves, he's going to have the resources in his locker to be able to pull it off.
Yeah, definitely. He's got to save that, and he can't be too greedy with it, to be honest, because that'll cost you time later on in the race, I reckon.
Yeah, very sure. Further back down the field there, that's Chell. He's down the inside of Ryan. This is for 14th place out there on track. Chell picks up the throttle on the exit and is clear of the racing point on the soft tyres. He needs to try and make progress. He is through just for now, though. And look at this there up at the front. Nico is beginning to struggle yet again, but the DRS just about keeps him in it. That is what's holding this leading train intact. You sense that Dylan maybe just has a little bit more pace in store as JSD picks up a penalty. I think that was one of the first of the entire Grand Prix, but Dylan does look the faster of the two cars, so if Nico makes a mistake and loses that DRS, he's going to have a really long road ahead of him to try and stay in touch with his teammate. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, so be aware and not make any mistakes. That could cost him quite dearly, as McCrew is almost dropping out of the DRS of Yelt, so this could be quite dearly to him and maybe the cars behind as well. Spaghetti Tip is looking strong at the moment. I think he's on fresh soft, so that might be one of the cases as QPR Chill picks up a time penalty at the back of the grid. But yeah, Spag looking quite quick at the moment, so I have to see what he can do.
He is honing in on MMA Slash, but the opportunity hasn't presented itself just yet. It's McCrew, though. A couple of mistakes, as you mentioned. He is really struggling, and he's on the brink there. The detection zone is just there, and I think he's just missed it. He was about 200ths of a second shy. He's not that DRS, and now he is going to have to be put to work and try and get back within it there. Yale is going to try and take advantage. He's going to look to try and pull away, break away with these top three, who were also very, very quick in qualifying. You suspect they have the pace. Yale's still sitting at nearly 90% on the ERS. He's done a superb job of race management so far. McCrew has put in so much work, but he's just about managing to stay with it as we've got race leader Iro Dillon into the pits then. He is going to come in, and we've got a few more drivers in there. That's going to be MMA Slash, it's going to be Iro Packer. They are in as well. Suspect them all to go for hards. That's going to be a crucial pit stop. I'm not sure if Dillon got held in the pits there, but if he did, he's going to be vulnerable. Now Nico no longer with that DRS, and now Yelt is going to try and take advantage of that. Closing down on the Spaniard, we'll see if he can get a move done.
Yeah, let's see, as he's 6 cents away at the moment, and I think Nico might be following into the pits as soon as he can to maybe not let Dylan get away as much. And yeah, Yelt, let's see what he can do as well.
Tracking that leading gap between Dylan and Nico is a very short pit lane, so around about 14-15 seconds. At the moment Dylan is 15.5 seconds shy of race leader QVR. Nico, as still Yale, is sticking with it, but I don't think he's going to be able to mount any sort of challenge. Suspect a lot of pit stops amongst this top 5. They may all come in at the conclusion of the 11th lap in this Dutch Grand Prix. So far Dylan has reined in about half a second on his teammate, so he can try and take advantage and maybe get out ahead and maybe out of the DRS, but I'm not sure if he got held up in the pits or not. Into the pits comes Nico and Yale and McCrew and Skyzy and Spag. They're all in there's Geisy, side by side with McCrew, almost into the pit lane. That was so ambitious from the Frenchman, and now all the pit crews go to work there. Nico looks to get out just fine. He is clear of NSX Yelt, who tucks in behind the Red Bull driver. Out behind comes McCrew, and now Dylan round the outside of turn 1 there. He's going to be close. He's going to be ahead of Nico, surely. And Nico, is he going to be within that DRS? He's further back down the field. There's Slash. Looks to try and get through. He is past McCrew, and that's a good stop from MMA Slash. He runs wide. They'll go through 3, and then McCrew is going to try and get himself underneath him. Can't quite manage it. Has to slow down behind, but up at the front, Dylan has maintained that lead. Yelt on the mediums. That's an interesting strategy call. We'll see if he can make those faster tyres work there. He's got charge of those Red Bulls now.
Yeah, definitely. It's very ambitious. I honestly doubt that he can make it to the end, but let's see. I want to see him try. And he'll be trying anything maybe to get in front and take the front early as he makes a mistake there right on the curb onto turn 10, and he loses DRS. He still has it because the attack point was earlier than that corner, but he has lost half a second at least. So I have to try to get it back on those fresher tyres.
Now he's got to try and make sure that he does make more of those mistakes, because not only is it going to drop him back from the 2 cars in front, it's going to spin up those tyres that he needs to conserve. Has he got DRS? No, he hasn't, but he is working now using the vast reserves of overtake of ERS to claw back those 2 Red Bulls, who are now going to continue their sort of formation flight out there. They're doing a very strong job out there at the front. Looking further up though, one guy that I'm not counting out is Captain Chubbs. He is not far behind XL Lang, only about 1.5 seconds shy, and he can now keep going. He's not going to be too far behind there. He's going to lose time, of course, to that group behind, but he could be on for maybe a best of the rest finish if you like, outside of that train. As Packer picks up a penalty, that could be important, as now look how effortlessly NSX Yelt is reeling in these 2 Red Bulls in front of him. He's definitely got the pace now on those mediums. He's going to be about half a second a lap quicker, I suspect, so now he's got to try and make the use of it now. Avoid that curve on the inside this time. He does do just now. He has DRS now, so does Nico up ahead, but now it's Yelt's turn now. He's going to be on the offensive. Can he clear those 2 net race leaders?
Yeah, let's see if he can, and it's going to be difficult for the medium runner, but this is not an easy track to overtake. But we'll try anything, I reckon. Let's see, does he have the better exits compared to Nico? It's tough to see.
He's using overtake.
Yep, and that's way earlier than Nico ever did. Let's see, is he close enough for an overtake? NSX Yelt with the fastest lap, 1:11.6. But he's not close enough for an overtake down into turn 1. He has to back up for now.
Nico getting ever closer to his teammate, maybe giving him a bit of a hurry up there, because they have a charging Mercedes in behind. Of course, if Yelt does overtake these guys, then he has more free reign to look after those tyres and conserve and race manage. Is he going to go for a move towards turn 7? He's getting very, very close there in that slipstream. Nico has to cover the inside line. Yelt tries it right the inside. That's never going to happen. Nico covers it off well, and Yelt, the ever ambitious Dutchman, is all over these top 2 now, looking for any opportunity that is given to him. Nico defending well for the moment, but he says it's a matter of when, not if. Relentless pressure now from Yelt. Can Nico possibly hang on in P4?
It's going to be very difficult for the Red Bull driver, but he'll do anything in his power. Yelt has used a lot of his ERS already. He's now under the percentage of Nico, so they both are quite equal. But Yelt has used a lot, and he will be trying to use more and get past quite soon, because those mediums will fade away later on.
He is now onto the overtake yet again, switches it off. He's got to make sure that he doesn't overstretch in his attempt at trying to get past the Spaniard. Maybe try and pull him out and using more of his ERS. We've got Yellows up ahead and almost at the turn 1 their contact. I think that was Carmentals. He's gone round just in front of these guys there. Sorry, about halfway around the lap. He is now well off the back as Yell tries to create a gap in a turn 3. There's a little bit of contact with Nico, who's going to pinch him towards the inside. Very ambitious from Yell. They almost come together, and Yell just manages to control the slide. Nico was not giving an edge there, and Yell was unable to get through. So feisty for both of them there. They were able to keep it pointing in the right direction, but they've got to watch themselves out there, because really, if they one step too far and they could both find themselves out of contention in this race, they really have to be careful out there. Yell going for such an outrageous manoeuvre. He's got to watch out there. He has to take his time here.
Yeah, definitely can't afford many of those mistakes.
Whoa!
As I say that, he has a massive oversteer snap, and that puts Slash right into contention once again. And Yelt, he's got to watch out with those moves. We've seen a lot of those from him this season. I have to see if he can calm down a little bit and yeah, maybe try to overtake Nico in a respectful manner.
We'll see if he can now, and he's using a lot more overtake on this straight there. He's practically draining it, but he's not going to be close enough, surely, to the back of the Spaniard there. He got yellows up ahead. I think that's still Carmentos' ghost car, who's actually gone back out on track, so hopefully it doesn't obstruct these net race leaders now as they try to rein in Captain Chubbs, and that would bring him out of contention in this race. Still, yeah, applying that pressure, but he's used so much overtake, so much ERS to try and get up to him there, as now he's closing up on the Red Bull again. We saw him threatening in a turn 7 a few laps ago. He's getting closer and closer. He's absolutely drained all his ERS to try and get up to him, but still, Nico does not step aside. He's doing a superb job of not giving him the opportunities there and draining him, buying him and his teammates some time here. This is working wonders for the Red Bull strategy.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, the DRS that Nico has to defend him, for himself will help, and if Dylan wasn't there really, it will be much easier for Yale to get by, I reckon.
And Slash is sticking with it now. He's taking advantage of all this squabbling. McCrew is a little bit shy at the moment. Now, Nico's closer to his teammate than most times, and he is actually pinning on the overtake. Is he going to attack his teammate? This would throw something into the water here. He is closing down pretty swiftly, but I think he's just going to back off last minute there. He does not want to do anything too stupid, anything too ambitious, as Yale looks towards that outside line, and now tries to sweep inside. Does he go for any maneuver there? When it's Yale, you never know. He hits the back of him going through turn 2 and into the back of him again in turn 3. Has he broken his front wing?
Yeah.
I'm not sure he's broken. He's got damage there. Yale runs into the back of Nico and he's compromised his race. Genesis Yale using the overtake. He's absolutely desperate here, but Nico is not getting an edge, and Yale, with all the strategic advantage that he had here, might have just thrown this away here.
Yeah, definitely his left end plate seems to be fully gone, and that's again a bit too ambitious from the Mercedes driver. And he's paid the price for it for now, and Slash will be hunting him right now.
Oh, he's getting very close to that Alfa Romeo. Just has to sit it behind, but surely Yale is going to have to come into the pits there. Now, these two Red Bulls might have a little bit more free reign to maybe duel away up at the front, but they got to watch themselves out there. They cannot come to blows. What is the strategy call from NSX Yale?
Oh, McCrew.
He's still McCrew. What's happened there? He's gone sideways. Just saves it, and he now is going to be under pressure from Packer, though the American is going to hone in on there. What does Yale do? He's going towards the pits. He is into the pits there. NSX Yale pulls aside. Now, Packer, McCrew, closing down all the time in the Haas there, looks towards an inside lane, but no, doesn't commit too much on the brakes. McCrew holds it just in front, going around turn 1, just about surviving in P6, but now he's lost that DRS to the guys ahead, as has Slash on the two Red Bulls. So now, the guys that locked out the front row now have an opportunity to try and break away. Dylan and Nico, can they do it? Can they get the gap out, and can they secure a 1-2 here at Zandvoort? It'd be a remarkable result for them. Can they pull away? Can Slash stay with him? Questions to be answered. We've still got half the race to go. Let's see how this all unfolds.
Yeah, definitely. We gotta watch out for XL Ling and Captain Chubbs as they're still going out there, and they're not losing too much time to Dylan and Nico, to be fair. I think over the course of 3-4 laps they've lost like a second, so that's only a couple tenths per lap. They'll be very quick at the end. Let's see how this unfolds.
We've got a bit of a train building up now behind McCrew. Skyzy is right there with it there, and Spag is getting up on them as well. Link still keeping it out there on those mediums. He has done a very good job. Now M Short is actually in front of his teammate, and to his credit, he's only a few seconds adrift of the back of Spag. Now, of course, he is on much older tyres, and he will struggle to bring those to the end, but it has been a good recovery drive so far, given all the circumstances that he has had to put up with. But now, it's beginning to scatter. Now, after Yelp making that error running into the back of Nico, now you have the two Red Bulls, and then you have Slash in a bit of isolation, and then you have this battle here. McCrew ahead of Packer, ahead of Skyzy, ahead of Spaghetti Chips. They are absolutely going in an absolute train at the moment there. We'll see if any of these positions change hands in the next few laps. McCrew isn't looking too pacey out there, and I suspect that Iro Packer is going to be looking for any opportunity he can find to try and take a hold of that 6th place.
Yeah, he'll definitely be handing it back, but if he makes a mistake, Skyzy is right up there as well, and Spag as well, so he can't afford to make any mistakes. So yeah, we'll have to see if Packer is going to take the risk or going to stick with him behind.
The looking behind those Skyzy, as you said, is ever watchful, and the Frenchman will take any opportunity he gets. It has been pretty difficult on the overtaking, pretty late on that so far in this Grand Prix. It's a more tactical affair we're seeing today here at Zandvoort, and at the moment the Red Bull drivers have been every equal of it, but they are not pulling away from Slash. Slash is still very much in this race. He's very low in his ERS, but he is matching the two Red Bulls for pace, trying to stay in that DRS, or just an endless battle out there. And if Slash can just hook himself onto the back of him, he's given himself half a chance in this race to really trouble him out there. Further back there, it's Yelt now in his recovery drive, gets past XL Ryan down there at turn 1. He is going to have there, he's got the freshest tyres in the whole field. He has got to charge, he's into the points now, but he's got 7 seconds to make up when all the cars ahead. As a tall order for Yelt, can he get any decent points from this race?
Of course, he's in a points paying position at the moment, but you're hoping for more, I reckon. As Captain Jobson and XL Link for the race lead, they're coming quite close together now. I reckon these guys will both go into the softs later on. We'll have to see. As Slash just noted, he has come crawling into the DRS of Nico, and he's now quite steady in there, 6 tenths behind the two Red Bulls. Let's see what he can do.
Over the line comes your two race leaders. Alright, 3 seconds clear now of your net race leader who's made that pit stop, Iro Dillon. And he's now dragging his teammate and MMA Slash, who has slowly but surely worked his way into the contending position. Now we've got Skyzy down the inside of Packer. Looks to try and get the move done on the American. They're wheel to wheel now. Packer's still on the outside, but he's going to get squeezed out towards turn 2. And now the AlphaTauri driver has made that manoeuvre there. Didn't quite catch the start of the manoeuvre, but he has made his way through. Mr. Skyzy, P7, now has Mr. Elmer Crew in his crosshairs. And that Williams now. Skyzy on the charge. It's a few seconds behind these race leaders, but he looks pretty quick out there. Can he now tackle the Dutchman in 6th place at the moment there? Elmer Crew is going to be the man under pressure now.
Yeah, definitely. He's not been looking to pace in a few mistakes I've seen from him, but he has driven a decent race so far. Mr. Skyzy onto the back, and he'll be looking to get past, I reckon. He'll not want to waste any time if he's feeling really pacey.
We will see, of course, there. McCurr still holds that 6th place. He is solid out there, but he has slowly but surely been losing contact with these 3 guys there. Dillon, Nico, Slash. Slash is the lowest on the RS by far. He's also the last in the train, but he is going to be throwing everything at the race leaders now. Link has taken those tyres a superb 21 laps there, and he's going to be putting on the soft. I think he's serving a stop and go penalty, or it was a graphical glitch. I'm not sure what exactly is going on there with the McLaren. He's now got the softs on, and he is going to cruise up the field there. He's going to try and make his charge. He's the only driver on the field on the softs at the moment, as he's going to get jumped by JSD as well out there. Slash looks absolutely rapid out there. Look at how quickly he's reining in QVR Nico, now putting ever much pressure on the Spaniard there. MMA Slash is not out of this just yet.
Yeah, definitely. It's looking very quick for someone who has 8% DRS, if I may recall. It's very interesting to see this develop, because both the Red Bulls have so much more ERS.
Yeah, so he's going to have a little bit of a hard time overtaking. Nico has had so much pressure on this race, and I commend him for staying with Dillon, because one mistake, he gets out that DRS, that could be him gone, but he has not given way. He fended off NSX Yelt early on in the race, and in the end, it was Yelt who came to blows. Now, though, is he going to be threatened? Slash is close, but now the overtake comes into play from Nico. He's also running out, though. He's got to try and watch that. Dillon has preserved it very well out in the front. He's not really come under much pressure. He's managed to just contain all these drivers behind. He's now got them now, both within 1 second of him. There is so much pressure on Dillon. As I mentioned, he's not really come under pressure, but at the same time, you really have to commend. Hey, he must be absolutely bricky in that cockpit, but he is hanging on in there with now just Captain Chubbs ahead of him, who still has to go into the pits for fresh tyres. It has been a commendable drive from Dillon. Can he hang on up at the front?
As Benji gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Unfortunately, Neil going to the softs. He's not had the greatest race so far. Both the racing points will not be happy with that result, I reckon, unless something changes quite soon. But that's going to be quite difficult, I reckon. The top 3 getting close together as ever. Let's see, it's A10 separating the 3 drivers here.
We come around now. Turn 13 it is, going up through, and now through turn 14 as they open the throttle. Still out on track. Captain Chubbs now leading a decent amount of this race. He's going to have to come into the pits soon, and we'll see where he emerges. I think he's going to be between M Short and JSD. That's my predictions. Further down the field there, Skyzy again on the attack. He's wheel to wheel. He is ahead of LR Crew. Again, didn't catch the start of it there. He's catching me by surprise with these overtakes there. Mr. Skyzy, P5 out on track there. He's continuing to charge. He's 1.5 seconds behind MMA Slash. He's not out of this either, and if he can drag these guys with him, we may have a 6-car fight. We'll see, of course, how it all shapes up. We have still got 12.5 laps between us and the checker flag out there, but Skyzy has been the man on the move in the last few laps, and now he's got 1.7 seconds to try and chase down on MMA Slash ahead and get himself into that leading trio and put himself in the fight for the win here.
Yeah, definitely. I've just noticed Back has made a mistake. He's dropped back 2 seconds, and he's now got hounded by M Short. He's on 21 lap Old Hearts. I don't know if he's gonna pit still, or if he's gonna try to stay out. Watch to see what he's gonna do. I have to see as well for Slash, as he's out in the back of QPR Nico once again, but he's running out of ERS. Well, Nico still has 25% remaining, and will be using that to his advantage throughout the remainder of this race.
And that is so crucial. What an advantage he has with that DRS still. Now we're getting towards the business end of this Dutch Grand Prix. Chubbs will be pitting very shortly, and he will get out the way and leave these guys to discuss who's going to win this one out on track, fair and square. But now, does Nico, who has been just hanging on to his teammate, hasn't really given him any trouble, but does he, in the last few laps, get a little bit more ambitious and maybe try and attack? Dylan has done a better job though of managing that ERS. He's still sitting at about 45% there. He's done superb in that regard, and he's managed to control this race absolutely beautifully up the front. It's been an absolutely remarkable drive from Iro Dylan so far, but we still have 11 laps to go, and still 11 laps of twists and turns and obstacles presenting himself between Dylan and his second victory in LOE, and would put him into championship contention. Has so much pressure on his shoulders, but he's continuing to shape it up now. Into the mix comes Chubbs, and over the line comes Dylan, now into the race lead, for right out on track, and still they're being reeled in because Skyzy is making good progress. He's caught in just a few tenths, but that could be so important because when he gets within that second, if he can pull that one off there, it's going to be that much easier for him to stay in contact and maybe mount a bit of a challenge. Also into the pits is M Short. He's not been able to make those tyres make the distance, and he's going to be well down the field now, and now he can try and chase down his teammate. That's going to be a fascinating battle to behold, as these two Mercedes drivers, who we see so often up at the front of the grid, now scrapping away for the final points being positions. It has been a disastrous day out there for the Mercedes boys.
Yeah, they've not really had a good showing today. Otherwise to be said about the Red Bulls, of course, and they're still very much at the top and very consistent. But it's an Alfa Romeo chasing in behind, and an AlphaTauri chasing in behind as well. 1.3 seconds is the gap, 1.2 even, between the Alfa Romeo and the AlphaTauri. Let's see, Slash right on the back of QPR Nico. Let's see, coming towards the final corner, opening up his overtake quite easily, but he is running out once again, and Nico is having to use it. He has the DRS. Is he close enough to make a move in the middle? No, he isn't, but he keeps slashing behind, and they stay as they are right now.
Oh, that was the closest Slash has come to getting through on Nico, but in reality that lack of ERS is his biggest obstacle in trying to take this race win. Now I'm going to turn to you for a second there. Can you run us through the penalties of the guys in the fight for the race win? Because with the field so close amongst that top 6, it is going to be so important to avoid picking up the penalties, to avoid going off track here today.
So Dylan has 1 warning, Nico has 1 warning as far as I can see. Slash is on 2, so he's got to watch out with those. Skyzy is on 1 as far as I can see. I think McCrew is on 2. Packer has a penalty. So yeah, all these guys are so far clean, as Ryan picks up 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. I just got that. But Packer seems to be kind of out of this. He's of course in 6th place, so it's going to be hard for him nonetheless. But one thing to note, look at this, it's now become a 6-car train, a 6-car DRS train to be set. And let's see, as Slash is once again right on the back of QPR Nico, but he doesn't have the ERS percentage and what Nico does have. And yeah, Nico just stays ahead by that, using that to his advantage every single lap.
I have to say, what an effort, what a charge from Mr. Skyzy, Captain Chubbs on those fresh, soft, fastest lap of the race. He is not that far behind, and he is going to be making much more pace. We'll see if he can make any impact. Short goes even quicker. He's reining in on his teammate, who's actually side by side with JSD on the inside of turn 1, and now on the exit there's a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact between them, and JSD does not yield towards turn 2 on the inside to make a little bit of contact, but that's a good move from Yelp. He gets through, up into the top 10, and now he's got a few seconds now to chase down on Ling, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to pull that on off there, because Ling has much better tyres and he can try and stretch his legs out there. Short now is going to hone in on the Alfa Romeo just in front. He's going to try and chase down his teammate in that fight over 10th position out there on the road. Still the race rages on there. We have just over 8 laps to go, and now a 6-car DRS train for the race leader. Skyzy has made such an incredible charge up to this top 3, but now with them all having DRS off each other, as Short now, look at JSD, cruises past towards the chicane. He now runs in P11 out there, but back towards the front. It has been such an effort from Skyzy to get himself into contention, but now he's got the hardest task of actually getting these overtakes done. If he can do that though, he is going to be so proud if he can pull off a race win here. But a long road ahead of him. Can the Frenchman make any sort of impact on Slash and on those 2 Red Bulls who have held down the lead so well here today?
Yeah, let's see. Fantastic effort from the AlphaTauri reserve at the moment. Let's see if he's gonna be able to get past Slash. Of course, on lower ERS than any of these guys. McCrew not too high either, to be fair. But Dylan, Nico and Skyzy looking all fairly healthy on that. Packer as well, to be fair, but he's kinda with a penalty out of it. I have to see. Skyzy's gonna see a difficult task ahead of him, indeed.
But it all rides on Nico staying in that DRS of his teammate. If he can do that, he's pretty safe from Slash, who he's still got about 15-20% more on the ERS. So he has that to his advantage. Skyzy has more than any of these guys, really. But he's at the disadvantage, the classic disadvantage of track position there. And he is going to have to do this the old-fashioned way if he wants to try and get himself onto the podium or potentially win here. We have 7 laps to go here in Zandvoort, and still a long way away from the checkered flag. It has been fairly static up at the front, but it can all change in a blink of an eye as now Short glides past his teammate. He now runs in 10th position, and he's going to try potentially chase down the cars ahead and salvage as many points as he can from a miserable day out there for the Mercedes man. Still though, you cannot look away from this lead fight because it can all change as quickly as you can snap your fingers. That is the level we're seeing there. Such a competitive race out there. It is perfectly poised. Still though, the only constant has been these 2 Red Bull drivers fending off every challenger so far. Yelp tried to get through, he couldn't manage it. Slash so far has had no success at getting through on even Nico, and still those 2 Red Bulls hold firm, no mistakes. But you mentioned Dylan on 2 warnings, or actually no, I think Dylan only 1 warning, sorry, it was Slash I think that had the 2, my apologies out there, but they're going to have to watch themselves nonetheless. 6 laps to go and no mistakes can be made amongst these top runners there. Packer's lining up a move on McCrew, but not close enough. But these guys, they have to be so consistent, have to be so clean, otherwise the likes of Slash, Skyzy, McCrew, they are all poised looking for any opportunity, and they will pounce if any gap opens up presented by these 2 Red Bulls.
Yeah, definitely. Packer is looking very feisty at the moment. He's handing the back of McCrew, and he looks to be wanting to get past as soon as he can. So that's one to look out as well for. But yes, 5.5 laps remaining. It's going to be very interesting to see if the Red Bulls can hold on for 1-2 here at the Dutch GP.
And still the Red Bulls hold firm, but indeed Packer is reining in on McCrew. McCrew's got to try and keep that DRS, but of course now Packer without a clean race, or with that 3-second penalty, he is held back pretty greatly. I'm not sure if Spag's actually without a penalty, because that could get pretty interesting. A gap between them about 3.5 seconds. Are you going to check that out?
Yes, Spag is seemingly with 1 warning, while Captain Chubbs has a penalty. So I think Spag could still maybe manage it, but of course it's going to be difficult as these guys are all in DRS and Spag is not. He's in clean air. So, but it's not over till it's over, of course.
Yes, indeed. Of course, Spag has to essentially, if these guys are all staying in a train, he has to go quicker than the net race leader and pole sitter Iro Dillon. That is some task. Packer is so close to McCrew. I really think of a few things that went differently in this race. Packer could be well in that fight. The same could be said for any of the top 7 or 8, really. They've all driven pretty superbly, but of course, those tiny little errors creeping in can make all the difference out there. And of course, these guys will tell you firsthand that there can be no room for errors, especially in a division like D2. 6 drivers still separated by just a handful of seconds between them. There's actually less than 3 seconds between the top 6. That's the level of competition that we're seeing out on track. But still, Dillon is absolutely just putting everything on his shoulders and running with it. This is incredible from Dillon. He's not put a foot wrong, and he has 50% of ERS. Now, using some of it to try and keep himself afloat. I'm not sure if Nico is planning on trying to attack his teammate further back down the field. Packer's closer to McCrew this time, but still, the DRS that the Williams man has saves his bacon and keeps him alive in that 5th place just at the moment out on track. Still Dillon leads, still Nico second. Slash very close, but ultimately he's struggling to get through, and he will be ruining not managing his ERS better. If he'd managed that, if he had more in reserve, who knows what could have happened there. He could have potentially been able to run away at the front here.
Yeah, definitely could have had a better shot at attacking both of the Red Bulls. But now it's going to be very difficult as the gap between the 2 Red Bulls is 4 tenths as well. So Nico may be trying. I don't know if they're going to communicate this and just basically stay behind each other, or they're going to allow some racing, as Packer is looking with the overtake close to the back of McCrew. He's not close enough towards the chicane. McCrew stays in front.
McCrew hanging on in there, but Packer is throwing everything at him. We have 3 laps to go as we come over the line at the end of 33. Does Nico? He has almost 50% of that ERS. He has more than Dillon now, so he's not out of this yet. Spag picks up a penalty that essentially rules him out of fighting for that top 6 positions. Still, McCrew hanging on in front of Packer, and Nico trying to get close to his teammate. Are there going to be team orders here? I assume that if Nico is going to go for the move, it's going to be a clean one. They cannot afford to fight it too hard there. But Dillon, he's had the net race lead from lap 1, from the lights, and he's so close to the flag, just 2.5 laps away. He'd be absolutely gutted to lose it now. But as Nico, his teammate, who has sat in that DRS there, just backing him up, is he now going to turn on him and look to try and dispossess him of that all-important race lead of that 25 points there? Think of that. That's the stakes that we have ahead of us here at Zandvoort. Further down the field, there's Chill's gone off. He's spun out. I think he's been contact with BenGS because he is stopping in front of him, and there's just a few seconds down the road from this leading Hextet, do we call it? It's quite remarkable out there. And now those 2 are just a few seconds ahead. Of course, now that could give Dillon DRS, so they will ghost. But is Dillon going to be able to catch up to them? DRS would serve him so well there. Nico staying with him, keeping him honest, but so far has been unable to really mount a significant challenge.
Yeah, and look at Skyzy still. He has 60% of ERS, 70 coming into the braking zone. He might still go for a move on Slash if he's close enough. So we'll have to see, as he has a huge advantage on the Alfa Romeo up ahead, of course.
We'll see, but the laps are ticking down. We have less than 2 to go. Skyzy is going to have to throw everything at it. All of them are, if they want to try and ruin Dillon's day. Dillon has not put a foot wrong all the way through. A characteristically rather a driver that's rather accident prone, but in this race he has been picture perfect, and he has made absolutely no errors up at the front. But now, arguably the last lap, the last hurdle, it's going to be the hardest one. He is so close now, and Nico is bearing down on him. Does Nico have anything to offer? Is he going to attack his teammate? Is he going to rage a storm on the final lap here at Zandvoort there? There's not been much overtaking, but it's been a very tense race up at the front. And now the last lap kicks off there. Dillon has it ERS in reserves. So does Nico. Nico is going to maybe throw everything at him now. He has the DRS, he has the slipstream, but he doesn't have the ground, and he's going to have to send him behind. Skyzy as well is not close enough to slash. They are all just setting, looking for any opportunities that they can provide. But of course, there is as well not making any mistakes and trying to not open up any opportunity to overtake. There are no gaps can be opened, or they're going to be taken by these extremely high quality drivers. Still Dylan leads. What a driving speed. He's got 6/10 on his teammate as he headed to turn 7 there for the final time. Here in Zandvoort there. He has had so many obstacles, so much mental barrier across his career, and yet, despite all the opportunities, he's only had one win so far, but he's chasing another here. Still, Nico trying to get up to him there. Does he have anything left? Dylan out of turn 10. He's just got a few corners to go. One more sector separates him and the checkered flag. It could be a race win there as long as he doesn't have penalties. We'll wait and see how it all shapes up there. We're just 2 corners away. I don't think Nico's close enough there. They're going to be battling now down to the line. Dylan is in front there. He's going to have to slipstream though, does Nico there. Dylan out of the final corner. It has been such a remarkable drive now. Puts on the overtake. He's 4/10 clear. And Iro Dylan up to the line. He is going to take it. Skyzy almost gets Slash over the line. But Dylan, wow. What a drive. He holds on by 3/10 of a second ahead of his teammate. Skyzy's so close. McCrew 5th. Packer ends up 6th there. Spag holds on for 7th ahead of Captain Chubbs. Leg 9th in the end. Short rounds out the top 10 FVL. Not a good day at all for the Mercedes drivers. JSD comes home 12th. He picks up the final points and Ryan is going to come over the line. Wow. Iro Dylan manages to bring home the race win there. Not making a single error under immense pressure on a very technical circuit there. That is an incredible drive from the Dutchman.
Yeah, definitely an incredible drive for both of the Red Bulls, to be fair. And Game Awards drive for today to MMA Slash. He's driven an amazing race as well. All of the top 4 really, and further beyond as well. Like it's been a high quality one. It's a hard track to overtake, but Iro Dylan comes out on top, pole to win, and he'll be very happy with that one.
Pole to win, but it was anything but straightforward. Nico, again, we're not sure about their arrangement. If Nico was trying to maybe fight him, he did get close on a few occasions, but ultimately didn't throw any real overtaking opportunities, which just allowed Dylan to just focus on his own race, and in the end he has came through. I think overall, on balance, he was at least top 2 on pace today, so I think that's a thoroughly deserved victory there. Got the all-important pole position. We knew it was going to be difficult to overtake. He took advantage of that, and he has came home with the race win and 25 points to go towards his championship there. What a day for Dylan.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be really happy with that, as I can run you through the results. Once again, Dylan in first, then Nico and Slash run out the podium. Skyzy getting very close, 64 thousandths behind the Alfa Romeo. Then it's McCrew, Packer, Spag, who's coming up from 14 for this track. That's quite impressive. Captain Chubbs and Ling in 8th and 9th. Then Short with a recovery drive into P10. He'll pick up 3 points. Not be too happy with that. NSX Yelton in the 11th, and then JSD rounding out the points by in positions. Ryan, BenJS, and QVR Chill, unfortunately not scoring points for those guys. And Carmensless, QVR Maledictus, and Wesker all retiring from the race, unfortunately.
Woo. That maybe not the most exciting race in terms of action, but in terms of intrigue and tension, that was right up there. That was a fantastic display of driving from really the top 7 or 8 drivers in that race. They all just drove superbly, and that was very high quality. But in the end, Iro Dylan, who has kind of just faced all of his demons today and come out on top there. 36 laps of such a difficult track without making a single mistake. That takes something under such pressure as well. Iro Dylan is your race winner, and a 1-2 finish for Red Bull Racing there. That is absolutely huge for their Constructors' Championships as well. They are both going to be so pleased with that one.
Oh, they'll definitely be. And I'll hang on, if I can get the standings up, I'll maybe be able to see if they're going to go up into the Leaders' Championship, perhaps. Will be difficult. It might be close to Mercedes. They were 58 points behind, so that's not going to happen, unfortunately. But they'll ruin Mercedes quite quickly at this race, because I think Mercedes only got 5 points, and of course Red Bull 43.
43,
so that's,
yeah.
So that's a 20-point gap if that stays how it is, and yeah, that's a very impressive drive from both of them.
And we'll see if they can take that momentum forward into the remainder of the season. I'm certainly looking forward to seeing how that all unfolds there. It's Red Bull's day here today, but is that going to continue? I'm sure that the likes of Mercedes and maybe Rick when he comes back as well. We've seen how strong he's been this season. So much to look forward to, so much still ahead of us. But I think for this week, that's all to be said there. So, I've been Daka, he's been Verstappen, and until next time, we'll see you later.